In this video, we will solve this challenge problem, at which we will use the double integral in polar coordinates to find the volume of a solid. A solid which can be formed by taking the intersection of a cylinder and a sphere. Let us first cover a problem which uses the double integral in polar coordinate system. We evaluate this one over the region R, where R is bounded by the circles center at the origin, radius 1 and 3. For the solution, consider the following steps. Step 1. Graph the region and find the bounds. Here, since we are given a circle of radius 3, then we have this one. And a circle of radius equal to 1 with the following equations. Hence, our region is located in this part. And let us shade this one. Since we are looking for the bounds of r and theta, and any point in this region can be described by the theta between 0 to 2 pi and radius between 1 to 3, then this means we have the following boundaries. This one for the radius and this one for our theta. For our next step, let us set up the integral using these bounds. Here what we have is that x is equal to r cosine theta, y is equal to r sine theta for the polar. The value for x and y describes that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And moreover, we have the following value for dA, which is equal to r dr d theta. So that in the integral setup, we have this one using the boundaries r from 1 to 3 and theta between 0 to 2 pi. This one gives us this setup. So notice that we have 0 to 2 pi. We also have 1 to 3, and then we convert this one in terms of polar. So we have the value of x squared plus y squared, which is equal to r squared. And for dA, we have r dr d theta. Now, before we proceed to our step 3, it is worth to mention the following property, which is called separability. This property usually simplifies the process involving the polar coordinates. The idea of this property is that since this inner integral doesn't contain theta, then you can simply factor out this one. Formally, we have the following. So if you can rewrite the function in terms of one variable and the other variable, and these bounds are constant, then you can simply separate the integral. And we will use this property to evaluate this one. Now, for step 3, we have to integrate this setup. So since we have this integral, then what we can do is we can simply separate this theta and then separate these terms of r. This one gives us theta evaluated from 0 to 2 pi, which gives us the value equal to 2 pi. And for this one, we let u equals r squared. So that your derivative du is equal to 2r dr. Dividing by 2 gives us this value for r dr. And then continuing to change the variable, when radius is equal to 1, then you have your u is equal to 1. If radius is equal to 3, substituting this one, we have u is equal to 9. So this one is equivalent to this value. So this one is already solved, 2 pi, and this one is of integral 1/2 e raised to u evaluated from 1 to 9. Canceling the constant, we are left with pi and the evaluation of e raised to u, which is e raised to 9 minus e. Therefore, we have this one as your final answer. And as a consequence, we have the original integral, which is equal to pi e raised to 9 minus e. Now, for the challenge problem, we will deal with non-constant bounds with the radius expressed in terms of theta. Here we are asked to find the volume of the solid cut out from the sphere, which is of radius equal to 4, by the cylinder x squared plus y squared equals 4x. Visually, we have the following solid, which is the cutout from this cylinder. Step 1. Graph the region and find the bounds. Since we are given x squared plus y squared is equal to 4x, this means if we transpose this one, we have minus 4x and then plus y squared is equal to 0. Adding 4 both sides, we have this one, and then you add by 4, and then you have y squared plus 4. So that we can complete the square, and we will have this simplification. And this justifies that this equation describes a circle with center 2, 0 and radius equal to 2. That means we have this graph. This is the coordinate of 2, 0, and then the circle is described by this one. Notice that this region is the precise projection of your solid onto the xy plane. Now, this circle is also the projection of the sphere onto the xy plane. So the original equation is given by this one plus z squared is equal to 16. And the equation of this small circle is this one. Now, how do we find the bounds for the r and theta? Notice that the radius here is dependent where you put your theta. You may pause the video if you want to calculate for this radius, and we will proceed after a few seconds. To calculate for the bounds of r, let us first let this one to be your first equation. That is the cylinder. And we let this one to be the equation of the sphere. From this equation 1, we can transpose this one in terms of radius and theta. This one to be your r squared, and this one replaced by r cosine theta. And hence we have this equation. From this equation, you may choose to transpose this one into the other side so that you will obtain r squared minus 4r cosine theta equals 0. So that by factoring r, we have r minus 4 cosine theta equals 0. This gives us r equals 0 or r equal to 4 cosine theta. But since considering r equals 0, you are looking at a single point, which is the origin. Hence, we may consider this r, but we assume r should be greater than or equal to 0. Now, for the bounds of theta, we use this one. Since r is greater than or equal to 0, this means this one is also greater than or equal to 0. Dividing both sides by 4, we have this value for theta. The cosine theta should be positive. And if you look at this graph, the cosine theta is only positive when you are considering this first and fourth quadrant. That means your theta is between negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. So we have the following restrictions for theta and your r. Therefore, we are done with the bounds of our integral. Now, how do we find the inside function of your double integral? Here, we make use of the equation of the sphere, that is from equation 2. Notice that we have this one. So we convert this x squared plus y squared into radius squared. So that we have this one, and then transpose r squared on the other side gives us this one. And taking the value of z, we have the positive negative square root of 16 minus r squared. Let us now proceed to our step 3, which is to set up the integral. We make use of the following. We have this one for x, for y, for x squared y squared, and we also have this dA. The original setup of our integral given by this formula, where f of xy describes the height, which is the z value. Notice that the volume of the solid cut out above the xy plane and below the xy plane is the same. Hence, we may consider the following setup. What we have here is that we make use of the same bounds, negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, and then you have your radius between 0 to 4 cosine pi, but the inside function is actually considered to be this one. This is actually the positive value of z, and you multiply this one by 2. Since your height should be considered to be z upper minus z lower, which gives you the same value, which is 2 square root of 16 minus r squared. And hence, we have this one, where dA is given to be the r dr d theta. Now, for our step 3, we integrate this setup. We have this one, and then we integrate the inner part, which is in terms of r. Notice that in this particular integral, we cannot use the separability technique we used in the last example, since this one is in terms of theta. And the constant 2 here is transposed in this area so that when we let this one to be your u, you have the derivative coincides with 2r dr. Now, to calculate for the inner part of the integral, we have this one. So here we let u to be the inside function, which is 16 minus r squared, and then we have du to be this one. We solve for rdr, then that is multiplying by negative 1. Transposing the values, we have when r equal to 0, we have u is equal to 16. And when r is equal to 4 cosine theta, we have this value. We can factor out 16 so that this one left with 1 minus cosine squared. And hence we have this one as the sine squared theta. So we have this integral. Notice that RdR is this one, and then the inside function of the square root is your u, and we have these limits. So since this is negative, we let this one to be your positive, but we switch the order of these limits. Therefore, we have this one, and then integrate this one normally. We have this value, and then substituting the value gives us this one. Now, notice that we can simplify this one. However, this square root together with squared produces the absolute value. Hence, we have this one. So this is in terms of the absolute value. Simplifying this one gives us this value, that is factor out in 64 and multiply by 2, we have 128. So that the previous integral reduces to, from this one, we have this one. So we simply replace the inner part by this value together with this constant that is factored out. Now, it remains to distribute this integral so that we have this one per theta and then subtract this one by the integral of sine cube theta. And we focus this one. Now, for this integral, we make use of the possible values of theta. Since the sign of theta changes when theta crosses the value equal to 0, we subdivide this domain. We start with negative pi over 2 to 0, and then we add 0 to pi over 2. Since the sine cube of theta between this theta gives us the negative value, then we put the negative sign to neutralize the absolute value. And since when theta is from 0 to pi over 2, we have this one as positive. Hence, we have this one. Now, good thing is that there's a way to combine these two integrals. That is, we make use of the property negative sine theta is equal to sine of negative theta. So we can simply put the negative sign on the angle. That means this one is equivalent to this. And you copy this one. Now, if you let this one angle to be your new theta, you can actually observe that upon calculation, we have this simplification. You can now remove this negative sign and change the order of integration. And hence, if you simplify this one further, this will give you the same form as this integral. Hence, you can combine this one by this one. So it remains to calculate for this integral. We factor out one of the sine theta, and then the remaining sine squared theta is converted into cosine. That's why we have this one. And then this is the sine theta. So if we let u to be your cosine, then you have the following calculation. Du as negative sine theta, d theta, and then if theta is equal to 0 for this one, this corresponds to the u value, which is equal to 1. And if theta is equal to pi over 2, we have this one, therefore u is equal to 0. Therefore, we have this integral. Notice that du should contain a negative sign, since we must have this one. Negative du is equal to sine theta d theta, and then the limits of integration should be equal to 1 to 0. But what we did here is that we remove this negative sign and we switch the order of integration so that we have this one. Integrating this one gives us this value, at which we have u and then u cubed over 3, evaluated from 0 to 1. Executing this integral, we have the value equal to 4 over 3. And therefore, we have the following summary. For this integral set up, we have this value that we have obtained, and then we calculate by distributing the integral. We have this one and this one. This is gives the value 128 over 3 pi, and this one, as solved, we have 4 over 3. But then we have the constant 128 over 3. And this gives us the final answer, which is this one. Therefore, this is the corresponding volume of this solid. And if you want more of the contents like this, subscribe and see you in our next video.